Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode Barry Bonds of Shoe Booty Sports. That would be episode 25. Coming at
25.
you, coming at you a little earlier today on a Tuesday for multiple reasons. We'll get into that in a second. But first and foremost, show some love to our sponsor, Rhino Races. Visit rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is a virtual running series that offers 5 different races. Those races are a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and a unique challenge called the Rhino Ultra. Visit rhinoraces.com for details of those races and sign up. They're on the website. Sign up today. Run at your convenience. Rhinoraces.com. Also, check out their gear, t shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. Rhinoraces.com for details of that. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Shoe Booty Sports. Click subscribe here to the YouTube channel. And also, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. So, yeah, coming at you a little earlier than normal on a Tuesday. Central Arkansas is getting beat up by severe weather. Started last night and it's going to continue for the next couple of nights. So, yeah, we're going to try to knock this out while we got a little bit of sunlight. Not really sunlight, but no storm. So, yeah, how were the storms there? Did y'all even get any in Northwest Arkansas last night?
I think it rained,
Yeah, not that this is a sports topic,
but
but
no.
genuinely
Yeah.
curious. We hadn't talked about
No. No.
it.
I
Okay.
don't know if it did or not. It probably did, and I just slept through it. But
Well, I would say, well, yeah, there's a giant crack in my windshield and dents all over my car. So
dang.
yeah, and it sounded like a no. One piece of hail, one chunk of hail was like a baseball. It looked like a baseball in my front yard. Yeah, the rest were pretty much like ping pong balls, but
You sure it just wasn't a baseball in your front yard?
no, it was definitely not a baseball. It was one big ice baseball. So yeah, we get to deal with. It's not supposed to be as bad tonight, but it's supposed to be that bad. I think tomorrow night too. So looking forward to that. So hopefully I'll still be here next week for episode 26. We'll call that one probably episode Clinton Portis.
Okay.
Yeah, might even
Cool.
start naming. We might even start naming the episodes that. And because then they'll click on it and be like, oh, it's about Clinton Portis. Well, they didn't talk about Clinton Portis at all, except in the beginning. All right. Well, I'm rambling, so we tend to do that, but that's okay. All right, we'll jump into it. One of the top stories: Frank Vogel, Lakers
He gone.
coach, officially out. Yeah. So the man wins a championship, and two
First year,
years
right?
later, yeah, and
In his
two.
first year.
I don't know that it was his first year. I don't think it was his first year. I think it was his second.
I think he's
But
like, okay.
yeah, 2 years. 2 years later, he's fired. And so the man probably least responsible for how the Lakers performed this season got the can. At least one of the least responsible. I mean, it's not like the guy forgot how to coach over these last 2 years, but you basically took a defensive coach or someone that wants a coach that wants his players to play defense, and you gave him the worst defensive team in the league, the worst defensive roster in the league. A bunch of stars from 2010 and notoriously bad defenders such as Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, LeBron when it's not the playoffs, which they're not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, and LeBron didn't play a third of the season anyway. So, and it's hard for Anthony Davis to defend when he's in street clothes. So, Frank Vogel, things go bad and fingers get pointed, and for whatever reason, Vogel got the finger pointed at him. So, yeah, Frank Vogel out. Pretty, pretty bad call, in my opinion.
Did you
What
see
are your
the
thoughts on it?
yeah. I mean, like you said, he's one of the people least responsible for that thing. But sometimes it's just quote the leader who who takes the blame for everything. So the funniest thing I seen yesterday about it was they're announcing, oh, they're expected to part ways with Vogel, this and that, and then there's a quote from Vogel going, "I ain't heard shit." I thought that was pretty hilarious.
I did hear something about that he hadn't even heard anything or wasn't told about it. I even saw something come out. I'm assuming it was a parody saying that I think Barstool put it out, and I assumed that when I saw it, I was like, okay, it's surely a parody saying that the Lakers were giving him a 5-year extension. But I was like, even though it was a parody, I thought, you know what, I'd believe either story. I'd believe him getting fired or getting an extension. But it, I mean, I'm sure Vogel is cool with it. He's going to get paid, on the way out, and he got a championship.
There any names being tossed around for his replacement yet?
Doc Rivers came up, but I don't know why you would.
I mean, is anybody
Philly.
knocking down the door to take that job?
Exactly. They've missed the playoffs, I think, 5 times in the last 9 years or so, some stat like that.
Sweet.
But yeah, I mean, got a championship in 2020, but yeah, it's been downhill since. They've obviously got a clean house and just revamp the roster. Too many old folks, too many folks around our age, on that roster.
Yep.
And that's not good. That's not good if you're
not a good thing.
No, it's not. But yeah, Lakers need a clean house, and whether they will or not, we'll see. I don't think firing Vogel was the answer, so I would say that's probably not the best start. But then again, he might have wanted out anyway at this point. He might. I'm done dealing with this, and I'm sure he just looked frustrated. I mean, you're going to when your team's constantly losing. What were they, like 16 games under 500, and just constantly losing, and and quitting a lot of the times. Like when things would go bad, they would just quit, and that's the most frustrating thing for me if I'm a fan. That's what annoyed me so much about the Razorbacks in the SEC tournament when they lost to A&M at the end. You could tell they just gave up. They just it was like, come on, don't give up. Don't just quit like that. But that's been at least the Lakers were consistent in that regard. So consistently, they were at least consistent. You got to give them that. So Lakers don't even make the play-in. Oh, okay. Well, did you hear Westbrook's comment? We'll get to that in a sec. But did you hear Westbrook's comments about Vogel? I believe it was yesterday.
No.
Well, Westbrook and LeBron had a couple of interesting comments about it. Westbrook said he didn't understand what Vogel's problem was with him. I mean, he didn't say anything just out of line or anything, but it just didn't make sense. He just said he didn't understand his problem with him and didn't see his strengths as a player. And I would kind of start by saying, well, Vogel's got a ring. He's the coach of a team that won a championship a couple of years ago. It's not necessarily his job. I mean, it is to an extent to say, okay, how can I utilize him? But it's the player's job also to say, all right, how am I going to fit in with this team? Westbrook should know I'm not the same guy that averaged a triple double and was the league MVP in 2015 or 16 or whatever it was. Or that player with the Thunder in 2012. He's got to play to his strengths. He's got to know what he's good at, not go out and take bad threes and just
bad
take
layups.
Yeah, or go up for a layup and throw it over the backboard, or something like that. That he did in a warm-up drill. I heard Stephen A talk about in a clip today.
Really?
Watched him go up for a layup and layup drills, and it went over the backboard. Just over the backboard. But I mean, Westbrook has never valued possessions. I mean, just turnovers like crazy. And that's just always been something you deal with Westbrook. Like, you're going to get some phenomenal plays, but you're also going to, and that's why he's gotten so much criticism his whole career. Is he a Hall of Famer? Absolutely. But he he values possessions about like Brett Favre valued possessions in the NFL. Like I'm gonna, oh, this looks like a good idea, and then just it can either go great or it can go very poorly. But but anyway, it just the comments didn't make a lot of sense to me, and LeBron's really didn't make sense. They asked him about just the season, it being a failure, and LeBron said the season was not a failure. And the only thing I don't see why, I guess you want to be positive and not throw anybody under the bus to an extent, but at the same time, I don't think Kobe Bryant would have come out and said this season wasn't a failure when you're 16 games under 500. I remember how Kobe was before they went and got Powell, before the in between the Shaq and Pau Gasol era and Lamar Odom and crew. I remember Kobe during that time, and he would fight with one shoulder or what he battled through injuries during that time, for an 8 seed in the playoffs, and they almost beat. I remember them almost beating the Suns or kind of having them against the ropes. Whatever year that was, had to be 2005, 2006. I believe it was 2006. But I mean, Kobe Bryant wouldn't have said season wasn't a failure, missing the playoffs when it's easier to make the playoffs now with the play-in games. What, 10 teams get in now? So Kobe Bryant's not going to sit there and say, yeah, it wasn't a failure. The only positive for the Lakers or LeBron was passing, Karl Malone on the scoring list. That's about the only positive thing you could say about that. But it just shows, it's an example of where the Lakers are right now and what they've settled for as far as what's success and what's failure. So that's the standard Lakers. Do you want to deal with that is that what you want to do for the next couple of years? Because I imagine, I don't know how much longer LeBron's going to play, 2-3 years, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know that I want that if I'm Genie Bus and crew. And I'm gonna sip my coffee. So if we got some pauses in between, I'd say sorry, y'all, but it's a podcast, so just kick back, relax, and have fun with us. So, and I even wrote on the topic list. I was like, why are we still talking about the Lakers? As I was typing out this topic list today, I was thinking it's just Lakers, and then I'm like, why are we still talking about them? But they're kind of the most interesting news because it's just such a crap show.
Yeah, it's like watching a dang soap opera. I mean, I guess this is what you
Or
get if you like soap operas. I've never watched one, but
yeah,
that's
or
what they say that they're like, just full of drama and dumb stuff.
a
So
soap opera with a dumpster fire next to it. That's essentially what we're seeing. But uh, the play-in games are about to start. I believe they start tomorrow night.
I think one of them. I think they start tonight, man.
I mean, possibly. I thought I saw it started tomorrow. But either way,
No, who knows?
no, yeah, right now Brooklyn and Cleveland are playing. So like
Okay,
right
yes,
now.
yeah. I thought the Nets were playing. So,
So how does this even work? I haven't even seen how
dude,
this
I was
works.
just. Do you want me to share the playoff bracket that they posted online? It's a little weird,
Yeah,
but
let's see it. Well,
okay.
is it like baseball does, where it's like a single elimination game? Because that
Yeah.
would actually be kind of dope. I'd
Well, it's
actually be pretty cool with that.
if whatever team wins.
Okay, so this is what we're looking at here. Uh,
Okay, so the winner goes in as a
what's it
7
like?
seed, and then the loser goes to another play-in.
Well, the
A re-
winner will go play the 2 seed, and then the loser Okay.
So you got to play. Okay, yeah, the bottom two seeds play in.
Okay, so the high
Play the
seed.
loser.
So
Yeah.
so basically, okay, so if like let's say Brooklyn wins, they'll play Boston. And basically everybody else is playing for the 8 seed. Yeah, so basically the 8 through 10 seeds are playing for that 8 seed. Okay, I see.
It's a little different, but yeah, I think
Okay, I get it. Um how does it work though? What does it say there at the bottom? Like is it single elimination? Like I don't even know. All right, let's see this. Ends up until the 7th and 8th playoffs. Okay, it says like learn more about play in here. Uh, I don't know that we necessarily want to go through all that, but
nah.
yeah, I mean, if it's like a single elimination game for these play-ins, I'm totally okay with that. That would make for some interesting basketball. 'Cause, I mean, it's like I mean, win or we're done. So that
Yeah.
Cleveland Brooklyn game seems interesting. That looks like an interesting one. Just looking at the rest of them, I mean, the Spurs aren't the Spurs of old, but you know they're going to play tough, be solid. But now the Clippers Timberwolves game, that's interesting to me
Yeah.
on the west side. You got Pat Beverly with Minnesota now taking on his old crew. That Minnesota team plays hard. I've seen them a couple of times. They don't take a lot of plays off. They would destroy the Lakers if they played the Lakers. They would. I mean, if that were like the T Wolves and Lakers, I mean, with it being one game, I mean the Lakers would show up, to an extent, but
Mm.
they wouldn't out hustle or outplay Minnesota. Of course, Patrick Beverly's become a multimillionaire based on that style of play and just being a pit bull out there. Okay, well, if this is single elimination stuff to get into the top 8, I dig it. Like I'm okay with it. And it's just more playoff basketball. That's the thing. More playoff basketball is fun. It's more fun than more regular season basketball. As much as I like basketball and even the regular season, when it's a big game, playoff basketball hits different, obviously. So yeah, as far as I kind of wrote down on here how much will these games matter as far as teams getting in and then making noise. I guess we'll find out. But I mean, you're basically just playing for a chance to take on the 1 or 2 seeds, which is going to be tough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, if the Nets come out and can be healthy, and if Ben Simmons can find a way to play, and now I mean, he is legit injured, but if he can be healthy enough to play and come in and just not try to score, like don't even try to score, just distribute and defend and rebound. You do that, and I mean, you put Ben Simmons on the other team's best scorer. I mean, that's a tough matchup for that scorer. I mean, say what you want about Ben Simmons, but
What's his injury?
he's got a leg issue. Like I don't remember what it is exactly, but I mean it's something with his leg. Not like an ACL or anything, but something
Hmm.
along those lines. But it has legitimately kept him out because I thought he was a healthy scratch for the longest time. And I'm like, why is he not playing? You just hear mental health over and over again.
You say, yeah, that's kind of the narrative being played that whole time. So,
It was early, but then it came out he had a legitimate like leg injury. But if he could find a way to play, I mean, the Nets match up with whoever they go up against, the Celtics or yeah, Miami. Yeah, I was gonna say Bulls, but I mean, I guess they dropped off. Where did they end up on that?
6 seed. They're
Wow,
playing
they really.
Milwaukee.
Now, that sounds worse than it really is because the top 6 were so. I mean, they were within like 2.5 games back of each other. Like those top 6 seeds, like because Cleveland would always shift around from like 3 to 6, and obviously the Bulls now, but
Yeah.
Boston too. Boston ended up jumping all the way to a 2. What's Milwaukee?
Same record as Boston, 51-31,
But they're the 3 seed.
3 seed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so uh pull up the bracket again. Let's
Okay.
make some early picks.
Since we just been hot on them.
Hey,
Uh,
we nailed it in the women's tournament. Like absolutely nailed it.
I don't know about nailing it, but yeah.
I did. I nailed it. I didn't pick UConn. That's the only Final Four seed I missed.
But yeah, I picked it though. I went for the upset.
But I definitely was like, yeah, South Carolina's winning it all, and they did very easy. So I'm counting that. All right, so here we go. I like Memphis. I don't see them. I don't think they're there yet. I'm going to say Phoenix comes out of the West again. Phoenix reminds me, and Reggie Miller said this, and I thought the exact same thing. Like when he said it, I was like, that's exactly spot on. The Spurs team that Miami beat from with the Ray Allen 3, in the
Mm-hmm.
finals.
Yep.
I guess it was 2013. Yeah, that team that came back the following year, just hungry as ever, and then just stomped Miami in the finals. Beat them in 5. Just whipped them.
Domination.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
dominated them those games that they won. This Suns team kind of reminds me of them. Like they got there and got beat. Maybe felt like they should have won. You would have thought after the first 2 games of the finals last year that the Suns were the better team, and then it
Yep.
was just all Bucks after that. But the Suns team feels like that team. Chris Paul is so hungry for a championship.
I want him. Yeah, I want to get him, or I want him to get him one for sure.
Yeah, Chris
But
Paul he's kind of like Dirk was in 2000 what 11? Yeah, when they beat the Heat in that finals, LeBron's first year in Miami.
yep.
He's just determined to get a ring before it's all said and done. It could be their year. Could be their year, man. So I'm going to pick Phoenix come out of the West. I still think Milwaukee is the best team in the East. I could see I could see Miami coming out of it though. I could even see if Philly's hitting on all cylinders, I could see them doing it. I don't think they will though. I could see Miami or Milwaukee coming out of the East, but matched up against each other, and if it's everybody's healthy, I like Milwaukee. So I like a Milwaukee Phoenix rematch.
Yeah, I could see that. See that. So who are your who are your backup picks?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not ready to make a finals pick, but I do like a rematch between Milwaukee and Phoenix. I like Miami as the other team that could come out.
So you think Memphis or Golden State?
I don't think Golden State can do it. They're just too beat up.
No.
Um, Jordan Poole is a rising star, the next rising star there in San Francisco. But dude, that's the thing about the Warriors, man. They draft so well. Just who's the only key like real free agent. That's not true. They I guess I don't know if they signed or traded for Iguodala back when they had their run, but yeah, Kevin Durant's the only real big time star they signed via free agency. Everything else they built in the draft. they they drafted Steph, they drafted Draymond, they drafted Clay, they drafted Jordan Poole. That front office knows what they're doing. They know their hoops, man. And Jerry West was up there for a while, but they haven't really missed a beat. I guess they have a little bit just because they're not as dominant as they were, but but they're just getting older. They're getting older, and Clay can't stay healthy, and Steph's hurt too. But as far as so, I like Miami. I guess as my backup pick in the East. In the West, man, I really like Memphis. I like Denver too. That Denver Golden State matchup's going to be interesting. But basically, it's like who do you like more? The Warriors or the Grizzlies? I like the Grizzlies right now better just because of how well they've been without Ja Morant.
Yep.
So
And now he's back. Yeah.
yeah, so I like Memphis as my backup pick. The most the most interesting matchups on here, just looking at it, uh, Golden State and Denver is one to really watch. That's going to be an interesting series. Toronto Philly could be interesting. Toronto always plays hard. I mean, they're so well coached.
Philly wants that revenge on him though, just from the shot.
Yeah, it's different though. Kawhi's not there anymore, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's
But
not the same. But and it's just a different team. It's Embiid's still there. I'm sure Embiid looks for any reason to get motivated. So I could see him being like that. But that's one to watch too. But oh man, on that side, yeah, I guess that would have to be the most interesting matchup on the East side, Philly Toronto. But it's not near as intriguing as Golden State and Denver to me. I think Denver could with the Joker. I mean, they could live who might be the league MVP again this year. I mean, he may have gotten it uh, with the way he's played as of late. Again, I think this will be his second second league MVP if he gets it, second in a row too. So
mhm.
that's the most interesting matchup to me, Golden State and Denver. So what on there pops out to you looking at it? The playing games are fun just because if it's a one and done thing. I mean that's fun, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with you. I mean, I would watch the Toronto Philly matchup, and yeah, I'd definitely be interested in watching Golden State and Denver. And of course, I'm probably going to try and watch whoever Memphis ends up playing. So,
I think it'll. I mean, you never know. I think it'll be the T Wolves though. But that could be fun to watch. Or will be. I mean, just playoff basketball is fun to watch in general.
yeah.
But yeah, the Warriors Nuggets series looks interesting. I still think Phoenix is the best team. Come out of that conference though, and I know, yeah, I still like Milwaukee. That's the thing. They're the 3 seed, but they're only 2 games back from what Miami was. So
So, Chicago fully healthy?
I don't know. I haven't watched them enough. I don't know
Yeah. I
DeRozan's
don't,
status or Levine and crew. I mean, they're a good team. I mean, they could.
yeah.
I mean that's a unique matchup too. But I think Milwaukee's the better team, and yeah. So, okay. But here's the thing. I watched a regular season game with the Bulls playing the Nets, and which I mean, there's not much difference there. I mean, just 2 games back there. That's
Yeah.
the thing. The East is there's so much parity in the East. It's much more interesting on that side, which you never say, in years past. But yeah, I watched those two play in the regular season, and Chicago jumped out to a big lead early, and then by I think the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter, Brooklyn was up 20 or 30 on them. So if Brooklyn's hitting on all cylinders and everybody can play, Kyrie and KD, and like I said, if Ben Simmons can come in Simmons won't play in these play-in games, but if they get to the round of 8, it's possible. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what he can do to get in there. Not don't play him to mess if he messes up the chemistry at all, but like I said, if he can just go in and distribute, facilitate, and defend and rebound, what else do you need from him? You got two guys out there that can score. I mean, you got the best scorer in the game, and Kyrie Irving, who's who can create a shot as well as anybody in the league or has seen in recent memory. So you don't need to score. You just go out there, and distribute, and like I said, defend and rebound, and you do your part. Shouldn't be any pressure for him. So, all right, well, that's who I like coming out, or that's what I like early, here in the playoffs. But have you heard anything from jumping to Razorback basketball now about Muss basically taking advantage of the transfer wow transfer portal like he's done ever since he's
As you
gotten at
say, yeah,
Arkansas,
he's
and
still killing it.
I'm sure did it uh Nevada too. That's where he came from, right? Nevada. Drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it was Nevada he came from, but he did the same thing there. I mean, the guy is just a master at doing that, just grabbing key players just from the transfer portal. Arkansas basketball number two recruiting class in the country out of high school, and the number one class. They're doing this now, just I guess with the transfer portal, but the number one recruiting class from the transfer portal. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but as far as getting transfers, Arkansas is ranked number one above everybody else. So you combine that with the number two recruiting class in the country, you're going to have a team. It sounds like you don't have to
Yeah.
be too bright to figure that one out.
Mm,
So I don't
yeah.
know anything about these twins that they signed. I know one of them is rated really high.
We signed some twins.
Yeah, a couple twin forwards. Um, I can't remember their names, but yeah, this was shortly after like everyone basically declared for the draft. Like I think like a couple of days after Tony declared.
Hmm.
Yeah, you saw this and I was like, okay, well, Muss is on it. Like you knew he would be. It's gonna be far. It'd be hard to find anybody that works harder than that man at building a team. Dude,
Yeah,
he is hungry.
he said he was going to work, and dang it, he meant it.
No, he's not playing, and they're getting better every year. I did not think this team this year would be as good as they were last year, and they weren't as talented,
No.
but they still Elite Eight and had a massive win streak, and they're only going to get better. I mean, there's a lot of hype around next year's class, and they're going to continue to get more just with the success. I mean, success attracts players. I mean, look at Alabama football, look at Duke basketball. There's a reason they keep having consistently the top recruiting classes, but they had to start somewhere. And Nolan built it in the '90s, but just couldn't sustain it. Just over a long period of time. They were competitive,
Hmm.
but they after '95 they never got back to the Sweet 16. And until Musselman. That's the thing. After '95, the Razorbacks never got back to the Sweet 16, even for the rest of Nolan's tenure and whoever was coaching after that. What Stan Heath,
Yeah, and then
Pelfrey,
Pelfrey.
and then Mike Anderson.
Yeah.
But we got our guy now. So and Muss in year 3 has gone to 2 of them in a row, and around further than that. So pretty cool to watch that and just see the Razorbacks headed in the right direction. Um, Jumping to the next topic, baseball is underway. I took a look at the standings and just a bunch of like 2-1s and 1-2s and
You stay on top
two
of them
two
records
and
right now, yeah.
twos. Yeah, first time I looked at it, I did see the Cubs and Cardinals are at the top of the Central, 2-1. I haven't checked to see how Albert's doing or how he's done.
I haven't
But
heard anything.
yeah, so when are we going to talk about baseball? I guess when something big happens.
Man, probably when it gets like full swing into summer, probably somewhere around the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, I mean there won't be anything else to talk about
Yeah,
after the NBA
whenever there's nothing
playoffs.
else to
Yeah,
talk
whenever
about,
there's
yeah, then
nothing
we'll
else to
talk
talk
about
about,
some baseball.
then we'll jump into it.
Yeah.
Like I told you before, I this guy told me to check out his podcast, and I did, and he spent like the first like 5 minutes talking about nothing but uh, the Yankees pitcher or the Yankees signing a pitcher, and I just instantly just tuned out. I was like, I just can't stay focused on this. Like, what like, this is what we're leading with? Like I said, and I like baseball. Like I'm a baseball fan, but I don't want to sit there and watch it 24/7. And when it's October, I'll get intrigued, or the playoffs or whatever. If the Cardinals are playing, I'll pay closer attention. But I definitely don't want to listen to you talk about uh, Yankees signing another pitcher.
Go Yankees.
Yeah,
Yeah, nobody wants to hear about that.
no,
Except for people in New York. And
yeah, except for Yankees fans in New York. All right, so there's our coverage of Major League Baseball. So yeah, we're going to we'll talk about college baseball before we get to
for
Major
sure.
League Baseball.
For sure.
I did see Arkansas dropped to number 7 in the rankings, which I mean they don't really matter in college, but
No.
dropping a 2-1 series to Florida over the weekend will do that. Have you seen Tennessee's record? I don't want to give Tennessee too much love on here, but
Oh yeah, they're undefeated, right? And
no, they've
conference
lost a
play.
game. They've
Well,
lost a
conference
game.
and conference play.
I don't know. They've only lost one game all year.
Well, no, yeah, I think they're 12-0 in conference play. Like,
Probably. I mean, they're 31-1, which is pretty filthy. I think they're the ones that have the pitcher that throws like 103.
oh yeah, I think he had 104. That's
Yeah,
scary.
that's so fast. It's so freaking fast.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah, he's their closer, right? I believe, as he should be.
Yeah. God, I would hope you wouldn't have to face that in the first inning.
No, but you can't
Man.
throw that hard consistently. I mean, for like 6 innings, you can't throw
No.
that hard for 6 innings.
No.
But that's their Chapman, I guess. That's their oldest Chapman. So I wonder if he's still with the Yankees. I mean, he's somewhere throwing heaters. Anyway, so there was a big golf tournament last week, Masters. I watched a little bit of it.
Really?
When I got into Northwest Arkansas Friday, of course they asked me, like Ben asked me, like, hey, what do you want to eat? Like I left the Hog-Eye Marathon Expo, and he's like, hey, what do you want to eat? Because obviously I got to chow down the night before, and he suggested Village Inn, and I was like, I don't think breakfast food would be the best option the night before running 26.2. So
Put some extra gas in that tank.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
let's go for some like carbs and some kind of protein. So we ended up at an Italian place in Rogers, I believe. Is it Napoli's? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said Napoli's. He kept saying
Yeah,
Napoli's.
of course he would.
I
Was
was
it
like,
the nice?
I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it. Like I almost asked the waiter. No, it was very good.
Well,
It was
it
very
was
good.
good. I fixed it. I've not. Somebody was talking about that place last week, and yeah, I really want to go try it out.
No, it was very good. Um, but yes, they had the Masters on in the background, or like at the bar. They had it on the TV above. So I was just sitting there just watching it as we waited for the food and whatnot. And I watched it some as I was eating. But yeah, I of course paid attention to Tiger. I mean, he was in contention up until like the last day, wasn't he?
Saturday he kind of took himself out. Course was playing really tough on Saturday. Not a whole lot of players put up the good scores that they thought it would. Of course, all the golfers knew it was going to be a tough outing. I mean, they knew the holes were going to be cut tough and in some tough locations, and yeah, just with the weather that was there too. Wasn't
I,
wasn't the most ideal conditions for a major tournament, we'll say.
well, yeah, I had a busy weekend. I didn't tell you all about it, but oh, Margie and Ben went skydiving Saturday evening.
Where
So
at?
X and A. Yeah, they do that
Mm.
at the airport there. It was pretty dope actually. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was like okay, I'm gonna do that like next time I'm up here. Like it looked fun for real. But anyway, like Sunday, they go to their 5K and 10K Sunday, and I go with them, and then then afterwards that afternoon, we're all just kind of chilling, and I had I had the end of the Masters on, and it wasn't at the very end of it yet, so I just couldn't really get into it. But is it Scheffler? What's the guy's first name that won it?
Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler. Just sounds like a golf name.
Yeah.
Sounds like a guy that wears golf clothes.
Any guy named Scotty sounds like a golfer.
Well,
Just
Scheffler
just a
too.
course. Yeah. Just
Scotty
well,
Scheffler.
Scotty Cameron's a major name in the putting community.
Scotty
Uh,
Scheffler for birdie.
well, just the name of Scotty.
I mean, he just sounds like a name that Jim Nance would say. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds like a name that Jim Nance would say on a Sunday.
Yep.
But I heard he was like super stressed out, like going into Sunday because he had like a really big lead, didn't he? You're gonna have to give me some
He
recap on
went
this.
he went in, I think, with a five stroke lead, I think, for Sunday. So yeah, there's some nervousness if you hold a big lead like that in any major event on the last day. Um, Cameron Smith came gunning for him. He got off to a hot start, birdied. I think it's either a one or two, but the major turning point was on hole three. Like it wasn't even that far into the final round. Uh, they both mishit their approach shots, uh, just short in the just short left of the green, and they chipped up. And freaking Scotty made a shot of a lifetime. Skipped it into the bank, hit up, checked up enough, and just rolled right in. And I think Cameron, his go at it, I think he ended up 10 feet from it and missed his putt. I mean, that's a 3-stroke swing on one freaking hole, and it was big time. I mean, Scotty got to 4-putt on the last hole to win. You don't get to do that. He could have 6-putted. He could did whatever he wanted, but yeah, you don't get to 4-putt on the last hole and win in
That's
a
what I had
major.
heard. Yeah,
That
that
is
he did that.
ridiculous. But I think the bigger story of the day, I mean, yes, hats off to Scotty. He's killing it right now. But if a thing to watch that you could have got excited about, which they should have been covering the group more, was Colin Morikawa and Rory. I mean, they were killing it, especially Rory. He tied the course record for low round. And they had, I think it was hole 12, maybe. They both scored eagle, which I didn't know this. Uh, a pair of eagles on one hole is called a jubilee. Random facts. And then they closed out 18 by both chipping it in from the freaking bunker for birdie. Who does that? Especially Roy.
Didn't the, didn't
He
the
chipped
crowd
his,
like
and
a
it was like 15 to 20 feet break. It was ridiculous.
didn't the crowd like erupt when he did that?
Oh yeah, both of them. They erupted when
Yeah,
both of them did. And the coolest thing is that each one of them was celebrating the other one's shot. I mean, that's one of the things about golf. It's not really you. It is you versus the other person, but it's really you versus the course. I mean, you're not rooting against the guy you're playing against. You're not rooting for him to mess up. I mean, well, most people would. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would, but
No, I know what you mean because like run, running is like that too to an extent because you're only so talented. You know, I mean, like some are way talented than the others, and you're just when you hear about somebody doing something spectacular like Boston qualifying or something like that, or setting some kind of course course record or something, it's you cheer for that. You know, it's something you want to see. Like I'm not going to beat them. Like I'm not going to root against them. So I mean, that's cool to see. But I know what you're. It's basically you versus you to an extent when you're doing
Yep.
that.
Hmm.
You're basically racing the clock. You're not necessarily going up against somebody else. Now I have been in all out sprints against people. You know, at the very end. So, that doesn't get competitive really until the very end. You know, when it's like, okay, same fitness level, same type of ability. All right, here we are. Let's see who's better. Like it's
Yep.
fun at that point. Like let's see what happens. But yeah, now that is pretty cool though. I heard Rory like came roaring back, no pun
Oh,
intended, on the final day.
dude, I'm pretty sure he started in the red, man, or in the black on or whatever they say. He was positive.
He was in the
He was
NWO
plus one,
Wolfpack.
dude. He was plus. I'm pretty sure he was even or plus one to start the day, and he shot 7 or 8 under. I mean,
Was he wearing his NWO Wolfpack shirt?
yes, and he
He
was
did the
He was woo. Yeah,
too sweet.
yeah. Was that
Cool.
what they did? I can't remember.
Yeah, too sweet. Yeah, that
Let's see
without the like pitch in the voice.
what did Roy? He started. Oh shit! I didn't want to play a video. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I had heard he came roaring back. So
yeah.
that final day.
He shot -8 on his final round. Yeah,
Okay.
he
Yeah.
started the day at +1, dude. He tore it up.
How good is the Scheffler guy? How good can he be?
He can be as good as he wants to be.
What does
He's
that mean? Like all time great or
I
next
don't
big
I mean
star?
it's he could be the next big star for sure.
Or is it too early?
He's really well on his way. I mean, already this year he's made over $10 million. He's made more this year than people I think than John Rahm did all of last season.
Well, doesn't he have like
And
4 wins or something this
yeah, he
year?
already had he has 4 wins. He's played in what 5 events, 5 or 6 events this year.
It's his first major though, right?
Um
I would think.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So but yeah, he can be as good as he wants to be. It's just too early to tell right now. I mean, if he can keep it up. I mean, he's not. I mean, I wouldn't go out and say he's going to be the next Tiger Woods or anything, but to be like the next Rory or Justin Thomas or those guys that are big names, and they've won here and there, he can definitely be that. I mean, I think you're going to start seeing him on some commercials over the next, I don't know, year or so. You're definitely going to start seeing him more. He's going to be a household name for sure.
Who was
So
the British guy from several years ago? The like heavy set British guy that won some tournaments, and
Lowry, Scott Lowry.
I don't know. I just liked him because after the interview, they're like, "What are you gonna, how are you gonna celebrate?" He's like, "I'm gonna go home and get hammered." Like
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Lowry. Yeah,
get
yeah,
hammered.
he's yeah.
Yeah, and John Daly taught him how to say Arby's. Um, yeah, he was hanging with John Daly, and he was like Arby's, and like Daly's like, no, it's Arby's, and then the guy just like really he goes Arby's, yeah, and John Daly, yeah,
Oh
now you're
man,
getting it.
now you're getting it.
So I'm a fan of that guy.
Yeah, he's
Like
good. He
like
uh
that's
he
my kind of golfer.
he had a pretty good finish. He had a top 10 finish.
Well, I was
He
just a
might have had a top
fan.
5 finish. Yeah, I
I was
think
a
he had a top
fan
five.
at going when he was like just gonna go hang with my friends and get hammered. Like I was a fan from that point on. I was like, okay, I'm sold. Like I like that guy.
Uh,
All right, so that's the extent of that's how I find uh people that I follow in golf, stuff like that. And if you're just Tiger, you're just unbelievable, just a one in a gajillion talent,
Mhm.
one of a kind. But all
God,
right, so
I'm really excited because he said he's trying to get to uh he may try and play in the PGA Championship, which that's the event I have tickets to next month.
who
Um,
Tiger?
yeah.
He committed to the Open.
He's concentrating on the Open, but he said, it's still in the cards. I'm not expecting it, but if he did and just so happened to make it to Saturday, I would lose my shit like a little kid. Um, but yeah, there's always hope.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Okay, so here's how much I know about golf. When we say the Open, are we talking U.S. or British?
British,
Okay. So what do they call They don't
the
call it
U.S.
the
Open.
Open. Okay.
No,
So British gets the Open. Were they here
yes.
first or something?
I mean, it's over there. That's where it originated. So,
Well, I'm saying like why do they get the title the Open, like as opposed to the U.S. Open couldn't say the Open.
I think the U.S. Open changes venue. I don't know. Now you're gonna have me talking out of my butt.
I'm guessing
Uh,
just the British one came first. That would be my assumption.
yes.
But anyway, I know the four majors, Masters, PGA Championships, British, U.S. Open. I mean, I'm not completely um
Hmm.
just dumb to golf, but yeah, when you say the Open, I'm like, okay, which one? Anyway, it's basically irrelevant.
Yeah.
But
Well, the okay. So I believe the British Open uh is it might stay at the same site, or maybe it switches too. I think they both switch. Yep. Talking down my butt. Yep. Never mind. Don't mind me. Don't pay me any attention.
you talk pretty
Trying to
well for somebody talking out of their butt.
pretty clear, man. I know how to enunciate.
Yeah, different noise than when I talk out of mine. But that's for another podcast. All right. So in other news, the uh talking about marathons a little bit, the 126th Boston Marathon is Monday. It says it's limited to only 30,000 runners this year, but I think that's typically what they usually have anyway, because it's the holy grail of all marathon racing. So that'll be fun to keep an eye on if you're into that kind of thing like myself. To give you an idea of how hard it is to get into the Boston Marathon, though, everybody thinks you can just like sign up for it, like it's your
I
local
don't, but
marathon.
that's just because I've talked to you.
Yeah. But yeah, there are two ways you can get in. You can either qualify, which I'll tell you how easy that is to do. Uh, for my age group, the like 35 to 39 range, you have to run a sub 3 hour and 5 minute marathon. And even that doesn't guarantee you a spot. They say you should come in about 10 minutes ahead of that. And to give you an idea of how easy that is, my marathon time Saturday was 4 hours, 57 minutes, and 48 seconds. Exactly. That's the face. So there's that way, be best in the world at it, top 1%, or you can raise at least, it used to be raise at least $10,000 for a charity, and then you'll get a bib, like through one of their selective charities. But that's even going up. Like, I mean, it's a sport that's climbing as far as popularity. So, especially since they came out with the World Marathon majors, but uh, a lot of the charities are now asking for like a minimum of $20,000 to get a to get a bib. So chances are I'll never be running Boston, but shout out to those that do. Much respect. But yeah, you
I'm
had
sure you can go run Boston. You just won't get credit for it.
no, you definitely won't get well, and you won't be able to do it while they're doing it. That is a heavily guarded area, especially since the Boston bombings
Yeah.
of more than several years ago at this point. by those pieces of scum that did that. But yeah, so that's how hard it is to get into that. So it's a big freaking deal. It's the holy grail of marathon racing. It's the 126th, I believe it is. So it's going to be cool to keep an eye on. Like I said, even if you're not into that sort of thing, it's cool to see. And it's a big deal to win Boston. So very cool. My kind of, I put down here, it just made me think of like random sports, that I like that some people wouldn't expect that I like. I'll kind of give you an example. Like when I was reporting, the second ever event I had to go cover was a volleyball game, and I didn't know anything about volleyball, like actual volleyball. Like
Mhm.
I knew the concept. Okay, you hit it over the net, and don't let them hit it back, or make it land on their side. Uh, I like had to learn all the rules and stuff, and then I went and watched it, and I was like courtside and everything, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty intense. Like, and then I got to where I like ended up enjoying like watching it. So like volleyball and like softball is another kind of random one I ended up liking. Like I'll sit and like watch a softball game, like on TV or something.
Mhm.
I'm almost more intrigued by that than a Major League Baseball game. I think I'm just fascinated by it. How you
Yeah, I
can
think it's
throw
because
that hard
we
under like,
understand how to throw that pitch overhand. We have no clue how to throw that pitch underhand.
and it's better. And I used to wonder why, or I wondered, I was like, how can this girl, this like most teams have like one pitcher like that, like especially in high school, like they just have one pitcher and they pitch like all day. Like they'll go to a tournament and pitch every game pretty much. And I'm like, how are they not sore? And the coach explained to me, it's like this is it's a more natural, it's a much more natural throwing motion for the arm. Like it's much easier on the arm. It's much harder, to on your arm to be throwing overhand. And just the way he explained it and like the way your rotator cuff moves and all that. And I was like, okay, I get it now. Because they were never sore. Like they could pitch all day and be fine. So I thought that was just interesting. Do you have a rando one like that pops into your head that you're like, man, I like this sport, like, and I didn't know that I would, or that others would be surprised. Like we know that you like golf, but a lot of people like golf.
Uh,
You into curling at the Winter
I was fixing to
Olympics?
say curling maybe, but ping pong. I do love watching really good ping pong players because it blows my freaking mind how they can do that.
Yeah, that is pretty cool too. Just some of
It's
the
the finesse and then the power, and it's also happening so freaking fast.
and the way
And
they move around like a spider monkey, basically.
yeah, and the spin and all the crap that they can do. I really like to watch that. Yeah,
And just the serving where they're almost like looking at eye level at the table. It's so weird but
they have to hold the ball and stare at it.
yeah, or just yeah, that is an interesting one too. Uh that reminds me of the video, the guy, I think I sent it to you, the guy that he's going back and forth with this dude and he wins the point and he just celebrates for like a solid 90 seconds of just nothing but celebrating and dancing and just like he's like while he's dancing he's like, how does it feel to lose? And yeah, and then he just goes there and it's like, yeah, like in the guy's face. And then he walks back to the table and the camera zooms over to the score and it was like 10-1. Like
Yeah,
the
I
other
remember.
guy,
Yeah,
yeah, the guy was winning. That was one of the best videos I've ever watched. But it made me think of that, you saying ping pong. Okay, so it is 7:09 Central Time here, Tuesday, April 12th, and it's it's daylight out still, but nothing is happening yet. But I know they're coming, so we are
they're
going to
coming.
yeah, we are going to
Storms are
sign
coming.
out. It's coming, man, dude. It was intense last night, man.
Yeah, I know,
Um,
man. I'm just glad there wasn't anything like that up here.
Yeah, well, it's not supposed to be as bad tonight, but it's supposed to be pretty bad tomorrow night. More similar, closer to what was last night than what'll come tonight. So I get to look forward to that for these next couple of evenings. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out here, or we're going to go ahead and sign out so I can go ahead and get this audio saved in case I decide to lose power or something. So we're going to get this uploaded hopefully tonight and get it live for all you beautiful, fine people to listen to. But until then, we'll be back next week with episode Clinton Portis, and we'll see what's happened with the NBA playoffs, etc. So, all right, till next time, Grandpal.
Brother Brown.
Yeah, too sweet. Oh, I gotta do better than that next time.
Yeah,
If
that's
there is
terrible,
a next
man.
time. Yeah, but life, that's easier to say.
Life.
Yeah.